Number 4, Luke Adams. Number 5, Jake Marshall. Number 8, Dean Beravescos. Number 10, Marcus Sharone. Number 11, Brad Norton, the captain. Number 12, Nick Cruceratis. Number 15, Ben Giba. Number 17, Ethan Gage. Number 18, Konstantinos Stratomitros. And number 45, Jerry Salados. And on the bench is number 2, Perry Lambropoulos. Number 3, Christian Konstantinidis. Number 14, George Howard. Number 23, Amir Jashari. And number 27, Lee Monopoulos. So an unchanged lineup for South Melbourne. Of course, the only change in the squad is Marafiotti out, and George Howard returns to the squad. So really big one there for Hume City. Of course, number 1, Mike Awiri is wearing the captain's armband today. Number 4, Paul Watson. Number 5, Daniel Dixon. Number 8, James Brown. Number 10, Steve Hewitt. Number 11, Theo Markellis. Number 14, Mitch Cooper. Number 17, Giddy Sweet. Number 18, Ben Bowler. Number 24, Umit Bozdugan. And number 25, Will Hendon. And on the bench, number 7, Ersin Kaya. Number 13, Matt Lazaridis. Number 15, Hayden Tennant. Number 19, Marco Delic. And number 20, the substitute goalkeeper, James Kapunikovsky. Of course, Nick Hegarty, the coach of Hume City. So a few changes there for them too as well. Of course, Monaghan and Rosardis make way for Sweet and Bozugan. So a few big changes there for both sides, Joel, but two very strong squads coming into today.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think certainly the one that sticks out is Harry Monaghan on the Hume City side of the coin. Of course, the skipper sent off last week against Avondale, and he's tended to be the one that tends to drop deep and pick up the ball and turn it into a bit of a back three when in possession, I should say, for Hume City. So it'll be interesting to see how they replace him. Really interested to see if George Howard gets any time off the bench for South Melbourne. Of course, people will know him as a guy that's had some time in the A-League with Melbourne Victory and has come back to NPL level to perhaps, I guess, reinvigorate his career and maybe get another shot up in the top level. So, yeah, interesting. But I think Esteban Quintus, of course, the new coach for South Melbourne, will be very pleased that early in his tenure he's been able to find some stability in his squad.
Well, again, we speak about the contrasting of selection. And again, a few players who were maybe falling out of favour a little bit under Contangalakis, but now getting starts in the starting 11. Dean Peravescos being one as well. Ben Giba and Jerry Salados was in and out as well. And that was a contentious point. We saw that against Green Gully when he was substituted. And it might have even been the nail in Tangalakis' coffin, to be fair, because after that result, he was finished. And again, Jerry Salados was someone who certainly had a big impact in that game and has had this season. But we are about to get underway here at Lakeside Stadium. Of course, South Melbourne going from left to right in your screen. They're wearing their traditional blue kit, and from right to left it's Hume City in the red. We kick off the second to last game of the NPL Victoria round 9. Of course, tomorrow night Green Gully still to play Kingston City in what has become one of the prominent fixtures, Monday Night Football out the Grange, as we are underway here at Lakeside Stadium as South Melbourne kick off, and a high and long ball forward to Sharone initially, headed down, and Markellis just getting underneath the ball. But Luke Adams, Ethan Gage rather, steps across and makes a challenge. And now the ball comes out to centre back. And, well, you spoke about it, Joel, and one thing that's always been synonymous with South Melbourne is the feeling at this stadium, and it's often hand in hand with performance, being such a passionate supporter group. And you can hear today, maybe there is a little bit of a buzz back at Lakeside Stadium, but we'll see how long that does last for as Gage gets it out wide to Norton. He finds Salados, who just turns inside and looks for Beravescos, who instantly gives the ball away in a poor position. So a chance potentially for Hume, and a free kick is given. So an early opportunity here to get that ball into the box. Well, you speak about it, Joel. This is the type of situation that Hume would love to have early in the game, throw ball and numbers into the box. Yeah,
absolutely. Excuse me. And I think you mentioned it there, Brandon. I mean, coming here to Lakeside, of course, very vocal South Melbourne crowd. They ride every bump. And look, for Hume City, certainly, if they can make an impact on this game early and get a goal and really, I guess, turn the tide in their favour and unsettle the crowd, if you like, and really silence them, that'll be a big advantage for them.
So the free kick to be taken here out wide and whipped in towards the back post. A good delivery, to be fair, and in the end, it is going to be a corner kick. So a first real chance potentially here for Hume City again. And, well, of course, for Hume, last week, a really impressive result, a 1-1 draw against Avondale, who, of course, have been flying away at the top of the NPL Victoria table this season. And that result out there certainly will give them a lot of confidence coming into a game like today as well. Of course, Avondale did go on and record a 6-2 victory against the Dandenong Thunder last night. And now a chance here on the corner kick again, though, for Hume. Well, an initial slip there from Hewitt, who gives a little bit of a cheeky smile towards the South Melbourne fans. This time keeps his feet and delivers well, and Reganovic just does enough to fist the ball clear. So forward comes South Melbourne on the left-hand side, and it's Chrysoriadis who just holds the ball up and, well, almost playing it to his advantage off the Hume defender, and then gets another deflection back towards him, but in the end it's cleared away well. Bit of time for Berevescos under the ball. He gets it down to Chrysoriadis, who turns it back into his path and looks to drive forward, but good challenge initially. And now here come Hume on the right-hand side. Marauding forward down the flank and just checking back. Salados putting some pressure on. In the end it goes back to Watson, who goes high and long forward, but that's just going to be claimed by Nikola Reganovic. And while we look at the setup of both of these sides, and South Melbourne not really changing too much in terms of the way they're looking to play. An interesting point I will say is that Quintas has got Marcus Schroed in a wide position and Chrysoriadis playing as a number 9. Of course, Billy Konstantinidis, the token number 9 in this squad, has been suspended for the last few weeks, and he still has a few weeks to go with that suspension. So it could be an interesting change, that one there, Joel.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, we saw it against Green Gully ourselves, Brandon. I mean, they had a lot of joy out of the likes of Chrysoriadis and also Jerry Salados as well.
Oh, that's a good ball in behind. And Cooper now with a chance on the left-hand side of the box. He cuts onto his right. Good ball into the middle. And it is the opening goal for Hume City. And, well, just like that, a fantastic start for the visiting side. And it really came out of absolutely nothing. And it's been bundled home at the back post. And I think it looks like Umut Buzdogan who scored it. We will get confirmation of the goal scorer, though. And, well, I think it was actually James Brown who bundled it into the back post. And, well, a fantastic moment there for Hume. So they lead. And a quick ball over the top, and the two stars up front, Mitch Cooper and James Brown, both, of course, with plenty of top-flight experience in the A-League, combining to open the scoring for Hume.
Yeah, well, those two guys, Brandon, they've been the danger men for Hume all season, and, well, that's James Brown's 7th of the campaign, and almost just went to sleep there, South Melbourne. I mean, still early in the game, but I guess that they... Well, we see it so often in football where teams are just susceptible to, that momentary lapse early on, well, we spoke earlier about if Hume City could get the goal to really silence this crowd, they could settle early and get the upper hand on South and really stifle some of that momentum they may have generated last week from the win over Knights. And it's exactly what they've done. And, well, fantastic start for them. They probably couldn't hope for anything better.
Well, it just seemed like such an easy ball over the top, though, in behind. And Mitch Cooper, who made a really good angled run to get across the back four and receive, and then had his head up to cut that ball across the face. And really composed finish in the end there from Brown. It did look like he bundled it over the line. To be fair, he's under quite a bit of pressure from Luke Adams. And, well, again, you just look at Hume, and it's a perfect start for them, of course. And as we can hear now, really silenced Lakeside Stadium. And, well, what can South Melbourne do to recover here as Reganovic has the ball and looks to come forward. So 5.5 minutes gone, and it is South Melbourne behind by a goal to nil against Hume City. So Adams on the ball, he looks up and plays essentially towards Berevescos, but he has it just taken off his feet. And that one in there, and that was Bozdugan who was tackled. So it's going to be a free kick taken quickly. So Dixon looks up, another really nice ball over the top, but Reganovic that time quick off his line. And now Reganovic looks to distribute forwards. In the end is intercepted, but Schroen flicks on. Ball falls down again now. Chrysoriadis coming forward, gets it out to Salados. On the left-hand side is Jerry Salados, and this is where it can be dangerous. Salados, he strikes a goal, and, well, it took a little bit of a bounce, but in the end easily held by Michael Weir. And Hume City will look to come forward.
Yeah, look, it was worth a go from Jerry Salados just to really test Michael Weir early and just keep the keeper on his toes. And look, important as well for South Melbourne to really start to, I guess, not waste any time in trying to wrestle back some momentum here. But look, an early shot on goal is probably not the worst thing. they can really do worse than, I guess, taking their time to create those opportunities.
Well, it's a free kick here for South Melbourne. As we look through some of the comments here, actually, on the live stream, of course, feel free to feel interactive with our stream. And one guy who has commented here, a top fan, Daniel Costi Puskasu. I don't think I'll ever get that name right, but actually just did a B licence with him this week. The assistant coach out at Eastern Lions, so we'll make sure we watch out for those main moments today, Costi. This is a bit of coach's lingo there, Joel. As that ball goes out for a goal kick. Now a chance for Michael Weir to just get this ball under control and look to play out from the back. So he gets it out to Dixon, who just holds the ball up and goes across to his central midfielder in Ben Bowler, who's dropping really deep to get onto the ball and then recycles possession across to his other centre-back. And just see South Melbourne happy to concede possession in this area of the ground and not allow Hume to break through the midfield and cut back there. Cruceratus just fouling on that right-hand side. So, again, it's going to be a free kick. So Hendon takes it quickly. Centres into Bosdugan. Now played out wide again. So Hume just looking to keep the ball. Hendon comes back inside and goes into Bosdugan again. And now across to Dixon. Good little exchange of play out to the left-hand side. And Sweet gets it under control. Does well. Does Giddy Sweet to get that ball into a dangerous area in the middle. Brown attacking it. Falls. Half clearance there from Norton, who follows up with another header. And again, South not really able to clear their lines here. A little bit messy edge of the box. It does fall, and it strike that time is blocked. And now South with a chance to counter here through Schrone. He finds Cruceratus, who's one-on-one with Danny Dixon, who makes a good challenge. And in the end, it's going to be a throw-in here for South Melbourne, around 25 yards out on the right-hand side.
Helter-skelter couple of minutes there, Brandon, but really liking Ben Bowler and also Umwood Bosdugan early on. Spoke early in the call about how Hume would go about replacing Harry Monahan in that position of picking up the ball in defence. Both of those guys look as though they're dropping from midfield into the back four and really playing out from there. But good couple of minutes. Really, game's really starting to quicken up a little bit.
So now James Brown looking to come forward, and he's just been tugged back there by Berevescos, who is going to go in the books. So the first yellow card of the game there. And here's Dean Berevescos, of course, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, is a player who wasn't really in favour with former manager Kontangalakis, was struggling to make the starting 11 or even the bench at times, and was often used as a bipart player. But since the change of management here, he has been getting himself a little bit more of an opportunity. Of course, started last week in the win against the Melbourne Knights, and again, retains his spot in the starting lineup. Of course, former New South Wales Premier League player, well, now known as the New South Wales NPL, of course, as Hume looked to come forward again and looked direct over the top in behind. And again, it's another really nice ball. And Hendon that time, the fullback, getting forward on the right. And was he fouled? Referee says advantage played into the box. Hume go, and it just bounces around. And Gage ends up picking up the ball. And Salados again on the counter-attack. He looks high and over the top towards Cruceratus, who's got the pace here on Watson. Just being held up, Cruceratus, but he cuts onto his right, Nick Cruceratus, and again, just couldn't quite get the strike. And again, it's easily held by Michael Weir, who releases, and now Hume look to come forward on the left-hand side.
Great ball in behind there from Jerry Salados, Brandon, and I think it's becoming clearer and clearer just how important that guy can be for South Melbourne. And we did see it in that game against Green Gully that we called together a couple of weeks ago when he was subbed off, just how I guess infuriated the South Melbourne fans were with that decision. I mean, he was having a great game that day, and certainly early here he's been dangerous when he's got on the ball. He tends to drift into central positions. We haven't seen a lot of him so far, but in the couple of instances that he has got on the ball, he's looked dangerous. And South Melbourne certainly need to maximise him.
Played back into Bowler, who again has been dropping really deep to get onto the ball, and Hume, you can just see really looking to spread the game high and wide and look for that ball in behind. As Bowler looks to come forward again, and now back out to centre back and all the way back to the goalkeeper. One thing I will say, though, is the pitch condition does look quite good here at Lakeside Stadium, and something which has been at times a fairly contentious issue here. Of course, it has been a while since South Melbourne have played here with the Grand Prix and the usual evacuation of Albert Park, as that's some good play there from Markellis. Just couldn't quite find the ball through, and Chris Aradis now coming forward. Little exchange there with Berevescos, and now Chris Aradis again, who beats his man in Watson and looks to cut back. Dixon did just enough, only as far as Gage, though, who comes forward. Now Salados onto his right, good pass, Shrone, Salados into the box, great challenge from Dixon. And despite the protest of the fans here, it was all ball, a fantastic tackle to win possession back. And, well, that could have been a hairy moment. Wonderful defending there from Hume City.
Yeah, it could have been a hairy moment, but that was inch perfect from Dan Dixon. What a challenge. And, well, he's another one that's had I'd say a decent season so far, but that was crucial. I think South would have been in there. But, yeah, great defending from Hume City.
Well, now just potentially to come forward here, but again, South Melbourne looking to really compact that midfield and not allow Hume time or space to get forward. But that's a high one over the top, and there was a little bit of afters in there as well. So the referee just halted his whistle for half a moment to see if there was some advantage, but he does bring it back now. And, well, that would have been the perfect way to get back into the game for South Melbourne. Of course, we can see again Slados and Shrone combining, and South Melbourne that time not able to break through as Dixon comes forward. Drops it to Bosdugan, who goes to Markellis, who's dropped quite deep there to receive the ball. Now back in again to Watson at centre back. And Dixon again here. Plenty of time and space. Goes long over the top, but couldn't quite find the run of James Brown, or so it was Hendon rather, on the right-hand side, and in the end it goes out for a throw.
Speaking of Will Hendon, he's someone that's actually really impressed me this season. I've been, I guess, fortunate enough to watch Hume City a couple of times this season. Brandon, I saw their game earlier in the season against Oakley Cannons, and then thereafter against Andy City, and he's a really exciting player. He gets into some good positions. He collects some good balls, and he's got a nice touch on him when he's in full flight. He can be dangerous. Yeah, I mean, Hume have got a couple of those players, but it's interesting that they just haven't been able to, I guess, string together any real consistency this season. They've got a lot of talent on the books, and when you look at James Brown as well, he's the one that sticks out, and even Mitch Cooper as well. And they just haven't been able to really get the wins that probably in some respects their performances have warranted under Nick Hegarty. Of course, only one win since round 2. They started the season with 2 wins, but since then only one more win.
Well, the ball does go back into Nikola Roganovic in the South Melbourne goal, who picks up the ball and just bounces it to himself a few times before dropping it again and looking to come forward with it. So Roganovic goes high and long forward. Stradomitros loses out in the header, and again, ball drops for Shrone. Exchange with Chris Aradis. Couldn't quite clear with Dixon. Chris Aradis got forward, but just got a touch on it, and in the end it rolls into the arms of the goalkeeper again in Michael Weir. So another chance for Hume just to recycle possession and come out from the back. Of course, we'll go around the grounds as well, because there were a few interesting results, of course, over the weekend. We already mentioned that we're starting on Friday night. Of course, the Melbourne Knights got a 3-1 win against Pascoe Vale away from home, so really important result for them, backing up the loss last week against South Melbourne, as Slados is tackled there and the ball goes out for a goal kick. Altona Magic continued their hot streak as well on Friday night with a 4-1 win against Dandenong City, and that was a really important result for them, as that really pushes them into the top 6 now. And Avondale, of course, returned to winning ways with a 6-2 win against the Dandenong Thunder. I said another double for Liam Bolland and another double for Stefan Zinni and Steph Valentini. So their front 3 certainly flying at the moment. And of course, Heidelberg United as well, going down to 10 men and recording a 2-0 win against the Bentley Greens, have now dropped to 5th. And then Port Melbourne, of course, last night with a 1-0 win against the Oakley Cannons. So again, really tight league, isn't it, this season, Joel? And results for all sides have been quite hard to come by, as that back pass ends up going out for a corner kick.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the results in a minute, but yeah, really good opportunity for South Melbourne here. I mean, they've sort of found their way in behind 1 or 2 times, but I mean, for the most part, it's been a couple of shots from distance to sting the palms of Michael Weir. A really good opportunity for them here to really stamp some authority on this game and get their supporters back into it as well.
So Marcus Schrone standing over this corner kick. So another opportunity here to deliver into the box. So it is Schrone into the back post, headed down, but nowhere near the target there from Luke Adams. And again, another goal kick given there for Hume City, as Michael Weir trudges across to collect the ball and looks to restart play. Decent enough crowd here as well, Joel. Maybe pushing around 400 to 500 here. Of course, Hume City not known for pulling in massive crowds, but again, South Melbourne fans coming back in relative numbers, of course. As we said, the first game back at Lakeside Stadium since the Grand Prix. There's always a period where it's a little bit of an adjustment, maybe a little bit of a disadvantage for South Melbourne. They do play so many games away from home early on, but maybe later in the season it always does give them a bit of a home ground advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they weren't really able to pick up a lot of points in the early part of the season, but I mean, now that they've come back to Lakeside, these are the types of matches that they'll really be looking to push the envelope and collect all 3 points, because if they can just turn this place into a fortress, it's going to be a hard place to come and go. I mean, when these fans are into the game, they're, you'd have to say, without question, the most vocal in the NPL, certainly in Victoria, and dare I say, around the country as well.
Well, that was a good chance there, and the ball over the top, just overhit for Cruceratus, and Weir did well off his line. A good strong challenge though from Adams to get it down, and again Dixon with the high clearance forward, but there is a man down here, and it is Theo Markellis, who I think was maybe collected in that challenge in the air. So he's just holding his face there is Theo Markellis, and referee straight away looking to halt play and just check if he needed some time. And look, it maybe does give us a little bit of chance to look at the table. Of course, as we mentioned, Avondale on top and still unbeaten, 8 wins and a draw and 25 points. A fantastic start from then. And Heidelberg United in second on 19, and the Melbourne Knights third on 18. So again, Melbourne Knights and Altona in fourth on 16. A few sides not really expected to be in the top few sides this season, really pushing the ledger at the moment, and well, doing some really good stuff to get into that top 3 with top 4 position.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly Altona Magic are the ones that stand out, Brandon. They were very ambitious before the season. Obviously, there were a few teams that really tried to, I guess, make an impact in the pre-season. Dandy City being one of those, of course, but they're down the bottom, as are Oakley Cannons as well. Both those teams were really aggressive in their recruiting. But even you look at the likes of last night, it just shows how tight things are. Both Heidelberg United and Bentley Greens, both on 16 points. And I was at that game with Joey Lynch behind the mic, and of course Heidelberg United in the end came out on top. A real workmanlike performance from them, as Mitch Cooper is caught offside just in front of us. But yeah, of course they lost Harry Noon as well, and they had to deal without Tom Cahill up front. So it was a really good win from them. They were on demand, but they just did what they had to do. They really shut things down for Bentley and made it hard for them to get in behind.
I did actually do the Heidelberg-Kingston game last week, and again, just a matter of a side that just knows how to grind out results, and it's such a great trait to have in this environment, in such a competitive league. As Marcus Schrone surely was fouled. Now the referee's played advantage here as Gibber looks to come forward. Is he going to bring it back? No, he's not. It's going to be a goal kick, and much to the dismay of some of the South Melbourne supporters who felt that they maybe should have had a free kick there for the earlier incident with Schrone, as Hume looked to play out quickly again. The ball over the top's intercepted though, so Norton coming forward. Now Salados. Clipped inside, Salados still going. Good challenge there from Dixon. Now it's Markellis. Back to Sweet, who gets it forward, and a great exchange there to find James Brown here on the left. So now Brown cuts in on his right. Great ball in behind there again. Brown's onside, cuts it across the face, but in the end, just wasn't able to find a target and just kicked out at the advertising boards in protest. The South Melbourne looked to come forward this time, but a poor pass from Stratomitros, intercepted by Dixon. Now he finds the space to get Hewitt on the ball. Now Brown, who again's just found that pocket on that left-hand side, but yet again it's Ethan Gage who comes across to win the ball, and now Benjiba comes forward on it. Gets Cruceratus. He's got Schrone running for him in the centre. He's got Shibber on his right. In the end, it was a good challenge, though, from Steve Hewitt, who got himself back on the ball and Hume will look to reset, but again given away. And Cruceratis now. Right hand side of the box. Nick Cruceratis. Can he look to enter himself? He hits on his left, but yet again, easy pickings for the goalkeeper in Michael Weir, and Hume City get out of jail again.
A couple of really poor giveaways in that passage of play, but at the moment, South just aren't able to really be overly damaging in the final third. They've been pretty restricted to a couple of pops, really from in and around the fringes of the area, which haven't really tested Michael Weir. They've been fairly routine. But down the other end, James Brown as well. He's looking really dangerous early as well.
So he's going to be throwing here for South Melbourne as Giba comes across. Of course, the South Melbourne youth team product, Ben Giba, who's been preferred to Perry Lambropoulos on the right-hand side in the last 2 league matches. Of course, as we said, since the departure of Kontangalakis. And now it's Marcus Schroen on the ball. He cuts onto his left, tried to find the ball over towards Salados, but intercepted there by Hendon and cleared away by Weir. Only as far as Schroen, who's unceremoniously dumped out of the way there by Gideon Sweet, who looks to be playing in a left wing-back position there as Cruceratis cut inside Dixon, but Dixon again strong on the ball, and Brown drops really deep into his back third and goes across now to Watson. High ball forward, but that's going to evade everyone, and in the end it's out for a South Melbourne throw as we hit 23 and a half minutes here in this first half, and still 1-0 to Hume City. Of course, an early goal from James Brown in just the 4th minute, enough for the visiting side to be in the advantage here. There hasn't really been any notable opportunities since that moment, as we see South Melbourne on the ball around the halfway line. So Salados looks up, high ball over the top. Schroen looked to get it down, but judged rather harshly, you'd think, of pushing his opposing fullback in the back, and it'll be a Hume City free kick.
Yeah, it did seem harsh. He was in a better position there, Marcus Schroen, but yeah, you're right, Brandon. I mean, not a lot of chances. They've been very much at a premium so far. I'm certainly looking at things from the Hume City side of the coin. James Brown's been able to get into a couple of good positions, but going the other way, if you look at a guy like Jerry Salados, for example, he hasn't really been overly involved, certainly not as involved as South Melbourne would have wanted. He's got on the ball a couple of times, but not really in positions where he's been able to be damaging. So they'll be really looking to bring him into the game probably from here on in, you'd have to suggest. Well,
that's a good ball in behind, and Cooper is offside just. In the end, he sprayed the shot regardless, but again, Hume City, one thing they are doing really well is breaking forward quickly and getting in behind on the counter-attack. And again, Mitch Cooper there, he's just been rotating across that front third with the likes of Theo Markellis and James Brown all sort of drifting in and out of the space in behind him. And again, it's quite a dangerous setup there from Hume. As we said, have been a little bit more direct than their counterparts in South Melbourne, who have looked to try and get the ball forward on the ground. And Giba there holds up the ball well. Good pass forward there from Stratomitros. He finds Schroen, who gets onto his left. Inside, it's Stratomitros, cuts it back. Couldn't quite find Bereveskos, and now it's Markellis on the ball, but a good strong challenge there from the young fullback in Giba. And that's going to be out for a goal kick. And I do apologise as well, it's Paul Wilson, not Watson. So we've been updated that on that sheet there. I think it's just a little bit of a mistyped letter on the team sheet we've got here, so apologies for that. It's Cruceratis now on the ball, gets it across to Ethan Gage, gets the second bite of the cherry there off Hendon, and now it's going to be Gage again, out to Giba. Schroen holds it up, but there's absolutely no one in the middle. Elects to go back post to Cruceratis, who's just had it cut out there by Hendon, so it is going to be another corner kick here for South Melbourne, and another chance here to get the ball into the box.
Really nice ball there from Marcus Schroen. Great vision. Almost came off, but look, corner's not necessarily a bad result. But they probably need something better than what they've been able to produce so far. South Melbourne, they haven't really had much from the set pieces. They've been able to earn themselves a few, and certainly as the half probably hits around the halfway mark, this is probably about the time where they want to really start to try and push their case.
So it's going to be a corner kick here again for South Melbourne. So whipped in dangerously by Schroen, headed away. Now coming forward is Bereveskos, who gets a second pass there off gauge and again wins a corner kick. So another chance here for South Melbourne to get this ball into the area. Well, one thing Hume City do have a lot of is height, and especially with their goalkeeper Michael Weir, who's one of the taller goalkeepers in the NPL. A number of boys getting back into the box to set up for this set piece. Is see Marcus Schrone standing over this set piece again. So Schrone it is to deliver into the box. A good ball in and half clearance, and in the end it does go out for another corner. So another chance here for South Melbourne. Some extended pressure here. This is where they want the ball, of course. Haven't really created anything clear-cut in this opening half an hour, but again, the more opportunities to get the ball into the box potentially, chance may arise to get a strike on goal as Schrone whips into the middle. Weir came initially, but then went back on his line. Was headed clear, though, by Wilson. There's going to be another throwing out on the other side for South Melbourne.
Yeah, and still they just keep it in the final third. Good period from South Melbourne. They really need to make something of it. They've had the ball up this end of the ground to our right for a long period of time. Credit to Hume City for hanging out or holding them out for this long. Oh,
that was a good chance there on the left, and it was that time was Brad Norton who got forward, who of course was the goal scorer, the sole goal scorer in their win in the derby last week against the Melbourne Knights. Never opposed to marauding into the box is the South Melbourne skipper, of course, the longest serving senior member of the squad, been around throughout the whole championship periods of 2014 and 2015. As Weir goes high and long forward, it's Norton again involved, who wins the header down, and it's going to be a throw in here for Hume City. So Hendon just steps forward looking to take that and just bounces it off his midfielder in Bowler. Recycles possession out to Dixon now, who just holds up the ball again and centres into Bosdugan, who goes back into Wilson at centre back. Now Hume look to come forward with a direct approach again, and it's a nice pass in behind Cooper, who does well to evade his man and get the ball to the byline, but just couldn't quite keep it alive, Mitch Cooper. And that ball goes out for another goal kick here as we hit the 29.5 minute mark of this first half, and it's still Hume City leading by a goal to nil.
And that's where Hume City are looking dangerous. Those direct balls over the top in behind. They've been able to enjoy some moments, Hume City, by doing that. Looks like South Melbourne have started to sort of realise the danger of the likes of Brown and Cooper. But, of course, we saw the goal come from that avenue. And I guess Hume City have been on the back foot for a little while. Good period from South Melbourne. So, I mean, they're sort of recognising almost the position that they're in, Hume.
A good little exchange of play out there to Giba now, who comes forward on the right. Well read there, though, by Mark Ellis, who just used his body to win that challenge back. And now the high ball forward again towards Cooper, who just was bodied there by Marshall. Bereveskos caught underneath at that time, and then Stratomitros with the deflected ball forward. It falls out now to Cruceradis. He looks up, finds Bereveskos, who flicks through, and just too much on that from the attacking midfielder. And again, Michael Weir, who's had a fair few touches of the ball, but nothing's really been troubling for the Hume City skipper as he goes high and long forward again. Cooper underneath it, but Adams with a strong challenge. Now Salados, who's been relatively unsighted the last 10 minutes or so, but here he's done well to drive past a few players, but the linesman on the far side is they judge the ball was not kept alive, so it's going to be a throw in here taken quickly again for Hume as Weir looks to recycle the ball. And when we look at the benches, and that's something which will slowly come into this second period, and you look at South Melbourne, plenty of options to come in, the likes of George Howard and Lemonopoulos especially. Plenty of experience there and goal-scoring ability. Of course, we mentioned earlier George Howard's been an interesting case. Dropped out of the side early on by Kontangalakis and struggled to make his way back in. And from all reports, wasn't injured, just wasn't getting a game. Yeah,
well, it's interesting because, as we know, he's had a bit of experience at the very top. But it's good to see him back, and it's probably going to be the first time, or certainly the first time that I've seen him play since those days, but I'm really interested to see what he can do off the bench because, I mean, you sort of never like to see when players are, I guess, forced to go out of the system and sort of make those sacrifices and to rejuvenate their careers. But I'm really excited to see what he can do here at South Melbourne. And he certainly seems like someone that's, with 1 goal, 2 goals, he can really establish himself even in the first team.
Well, again, the throwing taken quickly there by Sweet, who goes back to Dixon, of course. Oh, giveaway there. Strato-Mitros, dangerous area now. It's Cruceratis in the box. He cuts it across the face. Now it's Salados in the back post. Oh, and he's hit the side netting. A great chance there for South Melbourne. But Jerry Salados wasn't able to make Hume City pay. And, well, the best chance of the half for the home side to equalise, but Salados not quite able to direct it on target. And Hume City still have their 1 goal advantage.
I had to at least test the keeper there, Jerry Salados. At least force Michael Weir into a save. But tell you what, Brandon, very, very almost lackadaisical error in midfield from Bosdogan to allow South Melbourne in there. And, well, it's pretty much almost a 3-on-3. And they just had to make more of it. And, from a player of Salados' quality, even though he hasn't really been in the game so far this half, you'd certainly expect him to at least hit the target and force a save out of the goalkeeper.
Well, it's Ethan Gage now on the ball, and he recycles out to Giba, but that chance has certainly livened up some of the fans here as Giba comes forward. Now Berevescos, he was looking for him in the middle, but he wasn't quite on the same wavelength, and this is the moment we're here where Hume City would love to shut down this little bit of momentum the home side has as the ball played over towards Brown. Adams came across quickly to make the challenge, taken quickly though, and now it's Cooper, ball bouncing, finds Hume with the bicycle kick, and he puts it just wide, and well, everyone stopped for a moment expecting maybe the flag to be raised, but couldn't quite put it on target, and well, that certainly would have been a buzzkill here if that had gone into the back of the net.
It was a good effort from Steve Hewitt as well. Excuse me, but it really would have been, and we speak of momentum, Brandon. South Melbourne have had, you'd have to say, the vast majority of the play this half. Hume City have really seemed happy to play on the counter attack, and they're doing it pretty well, all things considered. And for them to score there really would have been a kick in the teeth for South. They've probably only been able to create one real clear-cut opportunity through Salados only a few moments ago, but sort of approaching the 35th minute here at Lakeside, for them to concede in that fashion would have been just a real blow. So to go in at 2-0 down potentially into half time would have been a real test.
Here's Cruceratis with the ball across the box, and Hendon had to do some defending facing his own goal. Now it's Schroen who flicks it back in towards the halfway line, but Adams came forward, flicked away, and Marshall had to make a covering challenge. Now Salados, of course, on that outer side here at Lakeside Stadium, of course, doesn't get opened up to spectators, that far grandstand, if all the fans camped over on the near side. Now the ball over the top, though. It's Cruceratis who gets it down, holding it up there. Nick Cruceratis onto his right foot, but Gideon Sweets just read that well. He knew that the South Melbourne number 12 was going to look to try and get a shot away on his preferred right foot, and just made a good covering challenge. But some really encouraging last few moments here from the hosts, who we've seen a number of times this season have been certainly in games, but the ability to finish hasn't been something which has been a strength. And well, there, an offside is given. A really well stepped up line there by Hume means that Schroen was played offside on the second ball, and well, some good hands there shown as well by Hendon. Maybe making a bit of a case there for his goalkeeper's job with that. The ball was whipped into the middle, and 2 strong hands. No loss of the ball, and now it's going to be a free kick here taken by Hume as we enter the last 10 minutes of this first half. So ball played back. Norton under some pressure there from Cooper, who forced him back to his goalkeeper in Reganovic, and his clearance goes out for a throw. Taken quickly. And again, out for a throw. So Hugh will be happy just to take the sting out of the last 10 minutes or so. We've seen South Melbourne have a fair little period of dominance there as Dixon surges forward in the middle of the ground. Good challenge, though, in the middle by Ethan Gage. And now it's Nick Cruceratis who's got Schroen on the outside making an overlapping run. So Marcus Schroen just holds it up and now will look to cross on his left. Deflected, falls to Berevescos. Was it a handball? Well, it was, but against a South Melbourne player rather than one of Hume City. And the referee quickly showing a yellow card as well, I think, for a late challenge earlier in the phase of play to Danny Dixon. And Ethan Gage is still struggling, I think, there in the middle of the park. He's just looking in a bit of pain. He was just caught a little bit late, but well, that moment there could have been a hairy one for Hume, but the referee just blows up the play, and Michael Weir throws it a good 10 metres above where it was before. Surely he's going to get that dragged back. And the referee has noticed that he's made a good 10 yards on that Michael Weir, and it's going to be taken quickly out the back as Hume look to build forward. So Dixon again looking for the long ball centrally, headed clear. Now it's Brown. And his pass couldn't find Hendon as it goes out for a throw in here. 7 minutes remaining in this first half. And, well, you just think, Joel, a goal now for South Melbourne will be absolutely critical just to get the fans up and about going into half-time.
Yeah, for sure. And that little period of sustained pressure that they were able to create through all those set pieces just previous really did generate some noise in the stands, at least momentarily. But I feel it's important, Brandon, for them to really capitalise on the dominance that they've had, and I feel it's appropriate to say that they have been dominant. Hume City have been playing on the counter for the most part. They've been doing it well, admittedly, but South have had the better of the play, so it's pretty important for them that they can at least go into the half with something to show for all their efforts. It would be a real, I suppose it certainly it won't exactly be good for them to go into the break at 1-0 down, I suppose, given the way that they have played. They've played pretty well. But of course, when you do play that well, you want to have something to show for it. And so far, they just haven't been able to do that. They need to bring in Jerry Salados into the play more because he's been rather peripheral. He's had a couple of touches of the ball, but in positions that haven't really been overly dangerous. So if they can get him into the play, perhaps in this last 5 minutes or so in the half, and really generate some momentum, then they should be looking good for after the break.
Well, the referee was going to blow up for a foul there. In the end, just let it go, and ball rolls back to Weir, and now Hendon under some pressure, so Weir will have to clear that. Gets it high and long forward, so Stratometros underneath the ball, gets it down to Gage. Now Ethan Gage finds Giba on the right-hand side. Chrysaradis. Now Giba again giving it away, and again a chance here for Sweet to come forward, but cleared, and Marshall on it. Finds Gage, a South Melbourne again looking to build with numbers forward. Good little clip ball over the top, but intercepted there again by Dixon, who's been really composed at the back so far today. As we hear the fans here just trying to work up some noise as we enter the last 5 minutes of this opening half. And as we said, Hume City's early goal in the 4th minute from James Brown, enough at the moment to have them in the lead. And, well, this result as it stands would put Hume into the top sixth position, overtaking a few slides as well. Weir with a bit of a shaky clearance there, and in the end Hume do get themselves out of it quite well, to be fair. In the end, Sweet just with the long ball forward, and it's going to be Marshall again on the ball, who backtracks and looks down the line towards Schroen. That's cleared. It might fall invitingly for Cooper, who was under pressure there from his defender in Adams, and in the end it's going to be another throw. And what we mentioned earlier, if Hume City could get this second goal before the break, you think it might even be almost job done for them, the way that South Melbourne have been this season. Of course, they've struggled to put chances away when they've been on top of games, and has come back to hurt them on a number of occasions so far this season, as the long throw is taken by Sweet and flicked on by Cooper. It falls invitingly. It's offside. Could have been a hairy moment there, but the linesman's flag was up early. Regardless, the finish was put high and wide, but just those moments there from Hume, you'd be certainly thinking that you'd just be wanting to take those chances to make that 2-0.
Yeah, for sure, of course, not to know that it was going to be offside, but this is a little period where both sides really need to be careful. Obviously, in the last sort of 5 minutes or so of the half. Never want to concede. It's probably the worst time to concede. Of course, even though we saw Hume City attack there, I mean, I think they're the ones, Brandon, that really need to be careful, particularly in midfield. We've seen in a couple of instances they've given away the ball in some really dangerous areas and sort of left the door open for South Melbourne to just creep forward and create something, which ultimately they haven't really been able to do. But I think we'll see in the next few minutes, we'll see both sides just really go into caution mode unless something really clear-cut presents itself.
So we are again looking to get this ball forwards as Hume just get their line up higher again as Weir goes high and long. Really good purchase on that kick as Marshall heads away. So will be another throw. And well, for Nick Hegarty, certainly has been objective achieved so far. They got their early goal and they've been quite compact defensively, looking to play on the counter and over the top. And they've done quite a good job of it so far. Stratomitros felt that should have been his throw. Taken quickly by Sweet, who goes in board to Bowler there, Hewitt rather, who switches play out to his fullback. Now a chance potentially for Hendon to come forwards, and well, that looks like a foul on James Brown, so it's going to be a free kick here again for Hume. And again, another opportunity to get this ball into the area potentially. So Steve Hewitt standing over the set piece. Well, this really would be a massive, massive blow to South Melbourne should Hume be able to find a way into the back of the net here as we enter the final minute of normal time in this first half. So it is going to be Hewitt standing over the ball. A number of plays forward into the Hume attacking area. Hewitt delivers dangerously into the box, high up and under, but the linesman's flag is upraised. So it looks like the referee will probably allow that to continue. So thrown out quickly to Giba, who comes forward on the right. Back into Stratomitros, who takes a positive forward touch, and now Chris Aratis. He's got Berevescos inside him. Clipped it back to Giba. He heads it down, flicked through, deflected, and again given away. So Markellis comes forward now on the ball for Hume. Cooper, one back by Gage. He's got options just in front of him, Gage. He cuts back and goes all the way back to Marshall now, and he just spreads the play out to Luke Adams. Now Norton surging forward on this left-hand side as the linesman, or the fourth official rather, puts his board up, and it will be 2 minutes of additional time. So here's their one final throw forward here for South Melbourne potentially. Salados, Norton, off the chest of Berevescos. Now Norton again. High delivery into the back post. Chris Aratis keeps it alive well on the header. Oh, what an opportunity that was for Marcus Schrone. I think he almost felt like the ball had maybe left the field of play, and in the end it just fell so invitingly for the South Melbourne number 10. But in the end he wasn't able to convert, and they find themselves level, or so still behind rather, going into this halftime break.
What a miss from Marcus Schrone, and that would have been a fantastic time to score. Go into the dressing rooms and give South something to work with, some real momentum going into the second half. But I thought that ball was dead and buried, but credit to Chrysoditis for keeping it alive when all hope seemed lost. And I guess if Marcus Schrone did think that that ball had gone over the whitewash, I guess it's just a lesson for any kids out there watching. Just play to the whistle, and whatever happens, just keep going and put it into the back of the net. That was a free header and really hits the target, any side of Michael Weir, and it's almost certainly 1-1. A really, really big opportunity wasted for South.
Those are the moments where you really be wanting to make the opposition pay, especially right before the halftime break as well. As the throw will be taken quickly here by Hendon as Hume just look to see out the rest of this opening half. Flicked on well there. Now inside is Hewitt, who Holds it up, goes back out to Cooper. He's under pressure there from Salados. Cuts back centrally. Now a chance potentially. Flicks over the top. It's a great ball to Hendon. He was offside, though, and it was Hewitt, rather, who got himself into the boxes. There is a man down in James Brown who the referee is just going to stop it for. And, well, James Brown, he looks in a little bit of pain there as well. The Hume City number 8, maybe just clipped a little bit late there, but he's helped to his feet by the referee, who allows play to continue. And this will be the final moments, you think, of this opening half, as we are into our 2 minutes of allotted stoppage time, as the high ball goes forward from Roganovic and flicked away. And that will be the halftime whistle. So Hume City at the moment ahead here as we go into the halftime break by a goal to nil. The 4th minute strike from James Brown. Enough for them to have the advantage here. But again, Joel, it's been an interesting half. South Melbourne certainly got themselves in the ascendancy and had a few really good opportunities to get themselves level. But much like we've said for the most part of this season, haven't been able to put their chances away, and they go into the break a goal down.
Yeah, same old problem for South Melbourne, just haven't been able to put chances away. And for that matter, they haven't really been able to create a great deal either. But look, credit to Hume City. It's been pretty much mission accomplished for them so far. They've been happy to soak up some pressure. They've defended well enough, and they've played on the counter-attack, and of course they scored in that very through that very way. But they have found some space in behind. Yeah, look, some pondering to do for South Melbourne at half-time. They could easily have gone into the break at 1-1. Of course, a massive opportunity missed by Marcus Schroen right at the death in this half. But look, it's still well and truly alive, and it seems like it's only going to take one opportunity for South Melbourne to really unlock things. They're well and truly in the game. They just need a bit of polish in the final. probably class him as their best player, with all due respect to the other 10 players on the pitch. But he's shown at various points this season how dangerous he can be. So if they can get him into the game and on the ball in threatening positions, then it'll go a long way to actually turning some of this dominance into opportunities and, for their sake, goals.
Again, South Melbourne, of course, no changes for either side is noted in this from the first half period. So again, both teams remain as they were. Of course, Hume City were really looking to play on the counter-attack in that first half and try and get the ball in over the top and behind. And just see here again, the really high line they're holding with their fullbacks and central midfielders when on the ball in deep areas. And again, here it's Dixon, who's really solid in that first half, coming forward on the left, and he again looks at the long ball in behind, and the foot race is won by the touchline itself. In the end, it's going to be a South Melbourne goal kick. And when we spoke about the benches for both these sides, of course, for South Melbourne, we mentioned earlier George Howard, Lee Monopolis, certainly players who can come into a game and create some problems. You can definitely see them being used in this circumstance if the score does remain the same.
Yeah, and I wonder, in particular, in South Melbourne's case, they've got a bit of attacking power off the bench. Obviously, George Howard is a name that stands out. We know his name from a period with Melbourne Victory. He's been sort of out of the frame for a little while, the first team frame. But even a storied old veteran like Lee Monopolis, I wonder if they'll turn to him before too long. Of course, came off the bench last week against Melbourne Knights, and he was imperative in the goal that Brad Norton did score to win them the game. So, I mean, they've certainly got some options, and.
So that was a good win in possession there from Cruceratis, but just unable to win it back. And you're going to see there, South Melbourne, they're looking to press quite high in this second half. In the first period, they were happy to let Hume City have the ball in deep areas and just sit off and allow them to play forwards. And in the end, it might have just hurt them a little bit because those balls over the top were quite dangerous. You're going to see here the likes of Berevescos and Cruceratis stepping higher up the ground. Another interesting change as well. It looks like Marcus Schroen's dropped a little bit deeper in his role there, and you can just see he's tracked his fullback all the way there in Gideon Sweet, so the ball goes out for a throw. We did see a bit of a rotating front three there between Salados, Cruceratis and Schroen, but Berevescos there now looks like he's stepped up a little bit higher himself as well. So, of course, South playing without a true number 9 in their squad. It has been a little bit difficult to find that target in the box as Hume City do have another throw. Now Dixon, who comes forward through the middle, and Osdugan with a good ball over the top, but intercepted, and Norton adjudged of handball there, so a free kick. There's Hume City. They've had a few of these in relatively dangerous areas, and again, they'll look to get on the ball. But what do you think for now, looking at Hume City's advantage, and Nick Hegarty, of course, is the gaffer of Hume. They've got a few options as well, Nurse and Kaya, Matt Lazaridis and Hayden Tennant, certainly players who can come in and maybe lock a game down. You think now, if they can just ride out this 15 or so minutes, they could be in a good position to run out this game. Yeah, well, I mean, Erskine Kaya is the name that stands out. He's got a couple of goals for the season. I've seen him a couple of times, been very exciting. But yeah, these are the opportunities for Hume City that they really need to make the most of and just slow things down. Well, a set play there from Hume, not effective in getting in behind. And now a chance here for South Melbourne coming forward. It's Salados on the ball. Tackled there strongly by James Brown, who engaged the enraged South Melbourne supporters. And now it's going to be Will Hendon to take. Well, James Brown, he certainly likes getting involved in some of the to and fro between the supporters. Just a little cheeky smile as he made that challenge towards the South Melbourne supporters. As the ball cleared high up and under. And now Hendon, was that a handball? Referee has his whistle to his mouth, but doesn't give it. And in the end, it's going to be another throw for South Melbourne. Well, that must have been borderline from excuse me, from Hendon. It was close, very close indeed to the arm. Good position though for South. Well, Cruceratis did well to get into the box there, and in the end was challenged strongly there by Bowler, cleared away. Now Brown, holding up the ball really well there, and he goes back into Bowler, who clears. Marshall gets it down. Gage under control. He's got some pressure there from Cooper, who had Gage's arm locked, and, well, in the end gives a 3 kick to Hume. So a few moments of contention there, and, well, in one way or another, certainly igniting the supporter base as the ball was taken quickly, and now it's going to be a South Melbourne throw. So Miscommunication there by the Hume City players with the free kick, and the referee just points Brad Norton back to his spot right in front of the Hume City bench. Takes a throw in quickly. Berevescos flicks over the top. Now Cruceratis looking to get there, but in the end it's going to be a throw. So taken quickly again. One down. Now cleared high up and under. Cooper underneath the ball. Adams winning it. Now it falls to Hewitt. Gage putting some pressure on. Stratometros came across, made the challenge. Gage under pressure. Twisting and turning. Goes back to Marshall, who clears high and wide. Now cleared away again. Norton. Up and under. Cruceratis not able to get it down, so it's Norton again. Good little exchange there. Now it's Berevescos. Wasn't watching where he was passing or the run of Norton. It sort of hit his back ankle. Berevescos in the meantime wins it back and did quite well to gain some ground. The challenge though is made, and in the end it's going to be a corner. Well, certainly starting to liven up here at Lakeside Stadium, Joel.
Yeah, nice play from Dean Berevescos there, and certainly bringing the fans back into things, and that's what they want, South. A bit of frustration there. That's we could hear audibly the frustration from the stands, which is exactly what Hume City would have wanted. But a set piece to get people back up and about here, and well, if they could turn this into something, that will be a big boost.
Schrone whips into the middle. Oh, it's a free header. It falls to the back post, and no one quite able to put that into the back of the net. And now it's a chance here for Cooper, who flicks through there to Mark Ellis. And Jeeba just did really well to get across and make a covering challenge. Mark Ellis, it looked like he was onside, according to the linesman. It was quite a close one now. It's taken quickly by Brown. Cooper into the box. He had to deal with the bunt of the ball, and in the end there's a high boot, and I think he's clipped Ethan Gage there as well, who's gone down. And he stayed down too as Ethan Gage, so it looks like he might need some treatment. A quick transition though from Hume again, looking quite dangerous for a moment there. Could have been in behind if it wasn't for a great challenge from Jeeba, who again has made a really good account of himself, the young fullback tonight. Yeah,
good tracking there from Ben Jeeba, but you're right, Brandon. I mean, that's where they've looked dangerous all game, Hume City, and that is the everlasting challenge for South Melbourne. One of throughout this game, of course, they've been rather dominant, you'd have to say, but while it's all well and great to be dominant, which is exactly what every team wants, going the other way, of course, you need to make sure you keep things tight at the back, and that's always the risk you run. Making sure you don't allow yourself to just momentarily split open at the seams. And Hume City have really been able to exploit the spaces a couple of times, and of course on the one occasion they were able to make the most of it early in the first half through Brown. Well, it looks like Lee Monopoulos has been sent for his warm-up, so it could be an interesting moment there for South Melbourne. Of course, we mentioned in our last broadcast against Green Gully, Lee Monopoulos, known as the impact player over those championship years, which made a really massive difference, and they could certainly use his goal-scoring ability here as the ball whipped into the middle. Headed clear. Now it's Cruceratis surging forward on this right-hand side, and he's challenged there. And it is going to be a free kick. So a chance now for South Melbourne to throw some numbers forward. They've had a few set-piece opportunities, but haven't really been able to make them pay. This is a moment here which could be telling, as the likes of Jake Marshall and Luke Adams are thrown forward. And good opportunity here on the set piece. Yeah, great opportunity, and you'd have to think that eventually one of these are going to tell. Admittedly, throughout the game, Brandon, probably you'd have to say that South set piece delivery hasn't really been the best. They've actually had a couple of, some moments, you'd say, where they found some space in and around the box, some free headers, which just haven't been able to make the most of them. Of course, it wasn't from a set piece, but Marcus Schroen's one in the first half at the death stands out, but they've had a couple of other opportunities where some nice balls have been floated in, but maybe some miscalculations or some miscommunications for South in the area have resulted in nothing. But you'd hope for their sake that eventually they can do something with these opportunities. Hopefully Bosdelgun is okay as well as he trudges off over the sideline. Well, looks like Lee Monopoulos is being ready to come on, so an early change here for South Melbourne as they look to get themselves back into this game. He's stripped off and ready to go, and just seeing who the fourth official is about to put up is coming off.
Meantime, though, Hume City are down to 10, and there's a set-piece opportunity taken by Shrone into the middle, and Stratometros, well, it looks like it might have cannoned off the Hume City defenders, but again, it is adjudged as a goal kick, and it is going to be a substitution made by South Melbourne. So Lee Monopolis is coming on for Dean Bereveskos, who put in a fair shift there in the opening exchanges of that second half, and a few little good moments from him, but he's substituted and, well, not really happy about it, Bereveskos, but he comes off and on comes Lee Monopolis for South Melbourne.
And looks like Lee Monopolis has gone straight up front as well. So we've seen how that's affected the structure for South Melbourne. And, yeah, as you say, Brandon, he's someone that knows how to score goals off the bench. And, of course, as we mentioned earlier, he was involved in Brad Norton's goal against the Knights last week out at Summer Street. So he certainly knows where the goals are. And, of course, he's someone that has a lot of, I guess, the sentimental value as well to South Melbourne. He's someone that loves the club. So I wonder if that will, I guess, bring any extra fortune.
Well, James Brown's low ball into the box, cleared away, and now a chance again here for South on the counter potentially, halted momentarily by Hewitt, and Hume City are going to make a change of their own. So Ersin Kaya is coming on, and it looks like Umut Bozdogan is not going to be able to continue, unfortunately. He's still prone down on the outer side. So on comes a little bit of experience in Ersin Kaya. Of course, did spend a little bit of time in the A-League as well with Adelaide United. So again, he's a lot of experience coming in. He's a seasoned player here at Hume City, is Kaya. As now Giba goes forward to Shrone. Holds the ball up, looks for the long ball over the top, and Wilson did well to head it back to his goalkeeper. And again, it looks like Hume City will restart the play, so out short at Dixon. Now played into midfield, but given away, and a chance here for Monopolis to get maybe his first touch, but coming across to cover was Bowler, and he's cleared away for a throw. It's interesting to see structurally how they do change. It looks like Monopolis will go higher up top, and Salados maybe looks to have dropped into a more number 10 type of role. So you said earlier, Joel, they want to get him on the ball a little bit more. This is probably the opportunity to do so. Yeah,
for sure. Certainly in that position, he'll be able to come in and pick up the ball. He can drift over to either side, of course. Interesting as well, and a good opportunity here for South. Actually.
Well, Chrisaratis could have come across, but a good challenge there, and Stratometros given away. Now a chance here on the right-hand side. That's a really good pass to find James Brown, who's challenged strongly there by Norton, who did really well to keep that ball alive, but wasn't quite able to retain possession for South Melbourne. And again, just for a bit of clarity for some of the viewers here as well, questioning where the crowd is. Well, that other side stand does not get opened during NPL games. There are around 400 to 500 people here on this main stand side. So South Melbourne, the only time I've seen that stand opened was the original game against Sydney Olympic when they came and opened this stadium up again a few years ago, and when they played Sydney FC in the FFA Cup. So not often opened up to the crowd. Of course, the NPL Grand Final as well was the only other time I saw that outer side stand open to the general public. So, again, just to clarify, there are certainly people here at Lakeside Stadium, and they are starting to make some noise as well. And, well, Joel, we mentioned how important the crowd is. South Melbourne have had pockets in the second half where they're trying to get themselves back into this game. Now it's flicked down, and again, Hume, they'll want to ride out this next 10 or 15 minutes or so as Adams forced to clear. So now James Brown trudges across to take the throw, and he'll leave it for his fullback. So forward will come Hendon to get himself on the ball. Taking short quickly, now flicked across. Adams clears it away. Monopolis looks to get it down, did well, finds Shrone. Looked to be quite direct there over the top again, but given away, Brown. And that's going to be a Hume City ball. So another chance here for Hume to just slowly build this forward.
They are getting a little restless, the natives, as well, as we creep into the 60th minute of play. So just the longer things go on without South Melbourne goal. Perhaps the edgier they'll get, and I think probably most concerning for them, Brandon, is even this half we haven't really seen a great deal of reward for probably more dominance for South, and Hume City, if anything, have come back into the game as they attack again here.
So Bowler coming forward here centrally. He's got a few options either side. He's tackled well though, and in the end it's cleared. And again, well, it looks like that second change is going to be made, and it looks like George Howard is going to get himself back on the field. So again, hasn't really been cited in recent weeks. George Howard, of course, played a few games for the Melbourne Victory in the A-League. Of course, was at Apia as well in New South Wales NPL before coming back across to South Melbourne last year. So this will be a chance for him to get himself involved and potentially try and establish himself back in the lineup, and I believe it's going to be Stratomitros to come off. So a very attacking-minded substitution. They are going to leave it for this set piece, though. So, again, a chance now for Hume to get a long throw into the box. The flick on is away by Marshall. That's a Sweet again, who whips it into the middle. Headed clear by Adams. Now Cooper on the volley, but easily held there by Reganovic. And to be fair, the only time that Reganovic has really been tested. And now it's cleared away, and it will be a South Melbourne throw.
Yeah, tame volley there from Cooper. It'll be interesting to see again how things change with George Howard on. I'd expect him to go up front, probably Lee Monopoulos to shift into a wide position. But even you could almost say a real opportunity here for George Howard. As we know, he hasn't had a lot of opportunity this season, but it could be a real statement performance from him if he can actually come on here and change the game and score a couple of goals. At least now South have got something to aim at up front.
Stratomitros again, another one who was frustrated either his own performance or the fact that South Melbourne were behind, or maybe both, as he came off there. So will be another throw to be taken here by Hume, and they really have done well to lull the tempo of this game. There's the ball thrown in quickly. Cooper gets an under, centering ball, high up and under, but that looks like it was surely offside. James Brown. Now the linesman hasn't raised his flag. It falls to Markellis. Brown tried to flick through, but Norton wins it back, and an average clearance put Monopoulos under some real pressure to try and keep that alive. In the end, didn't get a chance to, and there's going to be another change here for Hume City. So coming on is going to be Marko Delic, and it looks like coming off is going to be Theo Markellis. So Markellis, he had a bit of an impact in the first half, a few nice little touches, but just struggled to get himself into it in dangerous areas, and he comes off as Hume City still maybe look to lock this game down as Delic looks to go right up top, the big number 19.
Yeah, and look, probably at this point of the game, it's probably going to be important for Hume to have something to aim at up front. If South are able to find their way back and wrestle some control and really press Hume City, it's going to be important for them to have someone to just take down balls up front that they can launch at. But Theo Markellis probably got a little bit peripheral as things went on. As we know, they played very much on the break, so it was picking its scraps almost. Well,
good flick there, and Delic was just given as offside. Could have been a really good start for the freshie off the bench there. So Reganovic comes across to take the free kick. So Nikola Reganovic just takes his time over the ball and maybe gives himself a few extra metres for eventually playing the ball high and long towards Shrone. Flicks on, Monopoulos wasn't quite able to get it down, cleared again, high up and under. Adams got himself in a central position, now flicked away. Gage finds Giba, he comes forward on the right, but he's given that away. So Michael Weir is going to pick up the ball and again look to restart the play here for Hume City. So Weir looks up, goes high and long. Flicked on, now a chance for Delic, who tried to scurry it down but wasn't quite able to get there. And again the ball rolls out for a throw. So both sides having made two changes here to this, and we mentioned structurally how South Melbourne was set up. It looks like Howard's gone out to the right, Cruciatus on the left, and Monopoulos as a 9, and you've got Shrone and Salados both operating in quite high positions as well. So certainly very attacking-minded setup here for South Melbourne. Really looking to get themselves back into this contest.
Yeah, well, it's go time for South Melbourne. 25 minutes remaining in this contest. And, I mean, there really should be no excuses, I guess, for either team to really start heavily fatiguing. It's been a lovely day in Melbourne. Perfect conditions for football. Although, as we've seen in the last sort of 5 minutes or so, some errors have been creeping in, some overhit passes and some stray touches. But, some good intent being shown, even though in the last passage of play, even though Benjiba did turn it over, some good intent shown by the young man just to look up and get it forward and charge through midfield.
So Michael Weir just picks it up there. Monopolis just not really giving him the space to clear this ball forward. So Weir does go long in the end. Delic tries to get it under control. Flicks it down. Kaya, he flicks through, but Norton gets across and does well. Clips it out wide to Howard. His first real involvement in the game, and sold Giba a bit of a task there on that header, but Giba's done really well to, initially retain possession. No foul given, though, and, Norton intercepts well. Now this could be a chance. Cruceratis is away on the left. He does find him, so Nick Cruceratis here looks for the byline, but he's well covered there by Hendon, who, again, has been quite impressive today. Wins the ball, plays centrally, and now it's a chance here for Cooper. He's got options left and right. He goes out to left-hand side through Kaya. He holds up, beats his man, deserts and Kaya into the box, but never really able to trouble anyone centrally. And that ball goes out for another goal kick and taken quickly there by Roganovic. It'll be interesting to see now just how Hume set up in these final 20 minutes or so as South come forward. Salados, good exchange. Now Howard beats the initial challenge, tried to slip through Cruceratis. It does get there in the end. Cruceratis is offside. He's offside. Just offside. The linesman did have his flag raised early, but to be fair, it looks like a pretty average decision on the second viewing. Very, very close call, but, very close.
Well, it did look tight from our position, Brandon. I mean, of course, we don't actually have replays in our position here in NPL Victoria, but it did look fairly tight. I'll be interested to see that one again.
Having a look at our own internal footage here, it does look very, very close. Don't have clear guidance of it, but again, he's looking like he was well onside, to be fair, if you look at that again. But the linesman flag is raised. So now there is a card that looks like it's going to be issued to the Hume City bench, and it looks like it's been given to their assistant coach. So very interesting. It wasn't Nick Hegarty that was actually booked. Either a coach or a physio who's been shown a yellow. I'm not sure what for. Obviously, he's had a word to either the fourth official or the main referee. So he goes into the book as Brad Norton now goes long into the middle, and again, it's going to be a corner. South Melbourne, this is the period here. You said it is go time, Joel, and there is still 21 or so minutes to play. Is there going to be a chance to get themselves back on level terms as Marcus Shrone stands over this set-piece opportunity? Shrone whips in towards the near post, headed clear by Hendon. Norton gets it back inside. Salados. Shrone beats one to Shrone. Still going is Marcus Shrone. He flicks it through. Great pass. Just too much on it for Howard. But again, some good enterprising play there from Marcus Shrone, and he just had too much weight on the pass before the ball was intercepted by Michael Weir.
Yeah, well, again, it's just that final touch for South Melbourne. It was some nice play there by Marcus Shrone. It was some purposeful plays to take a couple of touches and then slide a very nice ball through for Howard, but in the end, just a bit too much on it. But it seems like it's coming.
Oh, that's a good ball. And again, Mitch Cooper just offside. And, yet again, similar to the other end, it was a tight run call, that one. Has been a few really close decisions there. That one looked like maybe he was a little bit further in behind. Mitch Cooper, he has been really looking to play off the shoulder of that last defender today. That's a good ball forward towards Monopolis. We are a long way off his line and lets it bounce into his area. And then Monopolis got caught in a bit of a tangle with the Hume City goalkeeper, but wasn't quite able to get there again. As Weir goes long forward over the top, and Kaya will chase this down. He's got Jiba alongside him, but Kaya does well, beats his man, deserts, and Kaya now into the box and cuts it back, but just couldn't quite find his man in Brown. Comes out the back to Hewitt, but again flushes the shot wide across the face and out for a goal kick. A good little half chance there for Hume City, but now South Melbourne look to restart play.
Yeah, great play there from Ersin Kaya. He was always going to bring just that little bit of excitement factor, that trickery off the bench. We know he can do it. He's a direct player, purposeful player, knows how to dribble, and well left in the middle there. And well, it opened up for Hume, and a decent effort by Hewitt. They're the ones that they probably want to take. Of course, South really pushing the envelope now, and the chances have dried up for Hume as well. Even though they're sort of still showing some signs on the break, the chances are few and far between, and to be fair, it's been a bit at a premium for both sides as well as Salados charges forward here.
Salados looking to drive in towards the area here, and he gets it out wide to Cruceradis. Now Cruceradis striking, but couldn't quite find the direction on the shot, and again Michael Weir was strong. Now it's Kaya. And Hume looked to come on. That's a fantastic pass, and James Brown is onside. His touch initially let him down, but Hewitt, sorry rather, it's Delic in the box. Great block, falls to Brown again, and it's bundled over the line by James Brown. And Hume City have doubled their lead here. And well, they look threatening on the break throughout this game today. They've broken clear again there. And after the initial goal-saving challenge was made, it fell to Brown, who for the second time today finds himself in the right place at the right time to put the ball in the back of the net. And it's 2-0 here at Lakeside Stadium.
Well, if you're South Melbourne, that's what you're afraid of. Another sucker punch, and James Brown, 8 goals for the season now. What a season he's having. And, well, that was the threat he posed. And now with some 15 minutes to go for the game, some of the natives are getting up and leaving. And, well, it's almost reflective of how monumental the task is now for South Melbourne. And really, it's been another day where just the same problem for them. They just haven't been able to make the most of their chances, and they're paying the price now, 2-0 down.
Well, that is certainly a sucker punch, and just as South Melbourne had broken forward on the right-hand side and wasn't really able to test Michael Weir effectively was Nick Cruceradis. And, well, again, we've said it a few times this season, despite having probably the majority of the play, South Melbourne find themselves 2 goals behind now, and, well, big task here to save this result as Salados looks to drive forward on this left-hand side. Still going is Jerry Salados. He beats a second player, but Wilson came across to make the challenge. As Monopolis goes quickly into Salados. Now Monopolis. Back to Norton. Salados again, tackled well, so going to be another throw-in. Taken quickly. Cruceradis looks to flick his defender. Still fighting for possession is Cruceradis, but it was cleared away, and Delic looks to get it down, but wasn't quite able to get it under control. And, well, it really has taken the sting out of this one, hasn't it, Joel? Because there was a period where it looked like South Melbourne were really starting to push. Now, concerningly, just see a little bit of a hobble there from Brad Norton. He just looks to be clenching his hamstring as well. So this could be dangerous as Monopolis strikes from long range, but that's nowhere near the target now. Brad Norton is having a chat, and I think his day is done from what it looks like. He's going to have to come straight off. And he's not one that's usually prone to injuries, Brad Norton, pretty much ever present for South Melbourne over the years, but the skipper does make way. And this is concerning as Perry Lambropoulos comes on. He's going to slot straight into left back. So, well, goes from bad to worse for South Melbourne. He's certainly a player they won't want to lose, Brad Norton.
Yeah, well, when it rains, it pours. That's what they say in the old adage. And look, hopefully Brad Norton's all right. And, of course, we saw just how valuable he can be last week in the derby against Knights. But, yeah, look, really up against it now. South Melbourne, it's hard to see how they're going to get back in it. And one of the things that we did speak about, Brandon, earlier was whether they could get Jerry Salados in more dangerous positions. And even though he did occupy a more central role after the changes started falling, he still hasn't really been able to affect the play too much. And you can really sort of see, I guess, just how peripheral he's been. They haven't really been able to create a whole lot of clear-cut opportunities still. Well,
James Brown, a judge to have handled that one there, is South Melbourne look to maybe push one last time here. High and long forward. Monopolis underneath it. Headed down well by in the back by Wilson, and Cooper over the top, and Delic is offside. Quite an obvious one, that one, is the substitute who's worked pretty hard today off the bench. Now ball played out wide and forward there by Howard. Tried to find the run of Cruceratus, but nowhere near his target, and that ball goes out for a goal kick. So again, well, some interesting selection dilemmas now to come up. Of course, Maraffioni not in the squad today, and George Howard on his return maybe hasn't quite had the impact that he would have liked. Salados hasn't really been able to get involved. What do you think it is the South Melbourne need to do? Because there is a tough run coming for them, and again, this is a result they really would have liked in the bag to get them back closer to that top six.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Brandon, and I mean, even after a good couple of weeks, we're kind of almost back to square one with South, just kind of left scratching our heads as to what they can do, and it's a good question that you ask. And I mean, it's interesting because they've gone down a lot of avenues into how they can solve this goal-scoring problem that they have had this season. Of course, only 6 goals scored this campaign, so it's interesting to know what they can do, and intriguing as well. Of course, George Howard has been the latest one thrown into the mix, but he hasn't really been so involved. I mean, perhaps if they were ahead, he may have had a greater impact, but just hasn't really been able to get involved. As we've said, Salados, no real impact. Monopolis hasn't really been able to trouble Hume going in the opposite direction either. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, perhaps you could put it up to just a bit of polish in the final third, which they've really lacked today. They have had a couple of great siders on goal. The one that really stands out was Marcus Schrock.
Well, here you go. Falls to Cooper at the edge of the box, but again cleared away. And that is such a telling statistic, isn't it, Joel? Only 6 goals scored as we're in round 9. But now it's Salados. They might look to add to that as Salados comes forward, cuts in on his man, he's brought down. Referee says play on advantage. Schroen into the box! And over. And the referee's going to bring that back and show a yellow card to Hewitt, who professionally fouled Jerry Salados. But Marcus Schroen wasn't quite able to make the most of his opportunity once getting into the box. And, well, a professional foul, you call those from Hewitt. He probably had to make it, and in the end, Marcus Schroen just not able to keep the shot down.
Yeah, and, well, we were just talking about Marcus Schroen, funnily enough, but, yeah, it was just another one of those opportunities. Of course, we saw one in the first half where Jerry Salados hit the side netting over on the left-hand side to our right. But, I mean, I think that's been the most clear-cut thing for me, Brandon, is they just haven't made the most of what they have been able to create. And pound for pound, South Melbourne actually have been able to create some good openings, and maybe on another day they score 3, perhaps even 4 goals, but it just hasn't come off for them. So I think you could probably just chalk it down to that, and they won't want that to be the case for too long as Hume City play down.
Well, this looks concerning because the stretcher has been bought out, so we don't like to see this in NPL football, or in any football rather, but looks like a change is going to be made, and it looks like Hayden Tennant is going to come on now. It looks like potentially it's Will Hendon who is down here, which is disappointing for him because he's had a really solid game as Hendon. Well, with 11 minutes to play, Hendon struggles to get to his feet. He looks like he's going to be carried off. It doesn't look good. For Hendon, so he's going to come off. And on comes Hayden Tennant. So the final change is made by Hume. I didn't really see what happened actually there, Joel, to be honest. He looks in a bit of pain, does the Hume City fullback. He put in a really good display today as well. Really solid on that right-hand side. And disappointing loss for them as Hume City will look to restart play here. There's 10 minutes to go at Lakeside Stadium. As Michael Weir looks to play the ball forwards.
Yeah, he's an exciting player, Will Hendon. So hopefully it's not a long term. Hopefully the less time he misses the better. He's had a pretty impressive season so far, but look, in some respects, obviously Hume City, it's an opportunity for them to make a change and some fresh legs for the final sort of 10 minutes or so. I mean, they should be fairly safe from here, I would have thought. They're still looking okay. Still looking okay late.
And the ball cleared away, and that's going to be a free kick for Hume, so... Again, it's going to be Hume City standing over this, and Paul Wilson and Danny Dixon both have been really solid at the back for Hume today. And while Hewitt restarts quickly, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, who restarts and goes high and long forward. Now it's Giba, who just got enough on it to divert it away from the onrushing Kaya. So Hume will just look to slow this down again as Giba picks up the ball and just motions to Giddy Sweet that he's all ready to go if he needs be. Now taken quickly, Kaya holding it up. Under some pressure there, Marshall. Just in a deep pocket of space there, and he clears it away. It's flicked on in the end. Now George Howard with a bit of time to get on the ball, and Monopolis goes back to Howard. Cuts inside and switches the play well to Perry Lambropoulos, who now has a bit of time and space to drive forward. Now Salados has got Lambropoulos overlapping inside, but Salados cuts in past a few players, clips it over the top. Cruceratis couldn't quite get there in the end, slipped into Michael Weir, who rolled over. Originally he looked like he was going to go down, but gingerly gets to his feet. Well, we've spoken about South Melbourne. They've had a few chances, but nothing's really tested Michael Weir. He has had a lot of the ball to his hands, but that's maybe been the biggest issue, you'd say. South have got into good goal-scoring positions. We've spoken about their lack of goals, but the finishing ability in those situations has been probably the most concerning aspect, you'd say. Yeah,
for sure, Brendan. I mean, I can't really remember too many, I suppose, what you would say, saves that stand out from Michael Weir. He's made a couple of routine saves that have certainly stung the palms, some that have, I guess, slipped out of the gloves, but he's been able to recover in each instance. But, I mean, the ones that stand out, I mean, either side probably of the keeper, there's been a couple that have gone high, but, yeah, look, he's been relatively untested and he swept at the back well. We saw in that instance, it gives you great confidence as a team, and I'm sure you know yourself, Brendan, being a keeper. When you can come out, command your area, it certainly gives your team a great confidence, particularly late in the game when you are looking to just close things out.
The ball taken quickly there. Monopolis now onto that right-hand side. The ball's blocked originally, goes back out wide, and another good delivery into the area and headed behind for a corner. So, well, if they were going to make a game of it, this would be the moment. Marcus Schrone goes across to take again, and South Melbourne have had a number of opportunities from set pieces, but again, haven't really been able to make it pay. So this is a chance. Schrone standing over it. The big men are in the middle. Schrone whips in towards the near post. Headed away. Will be another corner. So Schrone to take again. So Marcus Schrone whips into the middle, headed away. Giba, Schrone whips in centrally towards Marshall, cleared again. No, Giba just gets it down, but given away, and now an opportunity potentially for Hume to come forward, but Lambropoulos again doing his job to clear. Now it's Salados who finds Monopolis. Good little touch back to Howard, who's got himself on the ball a little bit more in the last few minutes. Delivers low into the box, again cleared, and again a chance now for Hume on the counter-attack. And Hewitt, he's got a few options left and right. He clips it in front of Kaya really nicely. He's got Giba closing in, but Kaya goes to the back post. Great ball! But James Brown wasn't able to complete his hat-trick at the back post. He just couldn't quite get some purchase on the delivery. And in the end, again, Hume dangerous on the counter-attack, just unlucky not with the final finish.
Yeah, nice counter-attacking play again from Hume. That's where they've been dangerous all day. Great ball across from Ersin Kaya, who's really added a little bit since he's come on, and James Brown at the back post. Good keeping, though, from Nikola Roganovic as well to just come out. We spoke a bit about Michael Weir before, the fact that he's been able to really be commanding of his area. That was some good goalkeeping there from Roganovic to really narrow the angle for Brown.
Good ball in that time from Howard, but Headed clear again. So James Brown comes forward here for Hume City. One back momentarily there by Cruceratus and then given away again to Cooper. So now here come Hume again on the left-hand side through Sweet, who's been quite adventurous today. And again, he looks to get round his man in Jiba, who made the initial challenge but wasn't quite able to get it back. Jiba comes in again for another bite at it, but Sweet just holding up well and now just keeping it in the corner. And again, these are the moments which Hume will use to just run this clock down as we tick into the 87th minute here. And, well, there are a number of fans starting to vacate here, and again, a highly disappointing result for South Melbourne back at home today. Really would have been looking to get a victory and continue their surge back in towards the top six, but at the moment, as it stands, it's going to be a defeat, the first defeat for Esteban Quintas, the caretaker coach for South Melbourne. Taken quickly now, Monopolis looks to get it down. Was he fouled? Referee says no. Michael Weir will just take his time with this. He'll force George Howard to get all the way across to him, and then he just picks up the ball. So Weir just looks up and plays it long forward. Jiba gets underneath it, finds Cruceratus, who hasn't really been able to be as effective as we're used to seeing him in recent times. As he's a foul, and there will be another free kick here for Hume City as they keep looking to wind this clock down.
Yeah, and the game's kind of just petering out, isn't it, Brendan? There have been a lot of chances for quite a while, some notable ones anyway. Just really coming to an inevitable conclusion. The fans are leaving, and there's only a few minutes to go, but it looks like it's going to be, it certainly will be another win for Hume City, much needed. And, it really does leave South with a lot of questions, a lot of problems. Where do the goals come from moving forward from here? Only 6 scored for the season still, as we mentioned before. They're really got to go back to the drawing board as to where they come from here.
Ball taken quickly. Howard does well to find Salados, who gets past one. Still Salados. Cuts inside. Wasn't able to find anyone with his distribution, so it's cleared away again, but Jiba is out there on the right. He finds Gage, and now forward to Cruceratus. He clips it into the middle towards Monopolis, headed down. Marshall, who's in an advanced position, the centre-back. He cuts it back towards Schrone, who gets into the box. Schrone! Oh, it cleared away off the line there by Hayden Tennant. Well, that was a great chance, and Marcus Schrone did well, to be fair, to get into that situation, but he just couldn't quite get the shot. Again, Jiba finds Cruceratus. Into the box again, no one there. And now flicked on, headed away by Adams. Schrone. Wide to Salados. Whips in towards the middle, and again, ball's cleared away. And just a lack of inventiveness, you'd think there, Joel. Just trying to force the ball into the box again, but just hasn't really quite happened in this second half. Yeah,
well, it just won't go in for South, and in particular for Marcus Schroen, who on another day could easily have had a hat-trick. He's had a number of good opportunities. A free header, one that's just blazed, and of course the latest cleared off the line by Hume City. It just really hasn't been their day, South. A forgettable one, but certainly one that they can really pick apart, strip back, and really, we've already spoken about the fact that they are facing some problems up front as a yellow card is dished out here.
Well, Marcus Schrone was really clipped rather harshly there by Ersin Kaya, so free kick has been given as we enter the final minute of normal time, or we are at the end of the final minute of normal time, and the fourth official has his board ready to be raised for added time, and it is going to be 5 minutes, so still is a little bit of time on the clock if South Melbourne can get one here as it's flicked through, and well cleared. No one was there to make the most of that opportunity as Michael Weir is staying down. He looks in a bit of pain there, the Hume City goalkeeper. I think he was collected potentially by his own player in there, but he will slowly get to his feet again as they continue to run down the clock, and again, another ball dropping in the box and another chance wasted there for South Melbourne. No one really able to pick up the second crumbs as we came and didn't quite get to the ball.
Yeah, and it's been a bit like that all day, hasn't it? It's been a couple of instances where the ball's kind of bobbled around there. There's been some crumbs to collect, but South just haven't been able to put it in the back of the nets. And well, hopefully as well, Michael Weir's okay. He looks like he'll be able to continue here. He's been an ever-present for Hume City so far this season. But yeah, the game's, as we say, it's reaching a conclusion here.
So Michael Weir just getting some treatment from the Hume City physio, and again he'll look to just suck up as much time as he can off this clock. As well, for Hume City, as we said, this will potentially seal their return to the top six. A really good result for Nick Hegarty's men, who in recent weeks, as we said, picked up some really important results with the 1-1 draw against Avondale last week, and of course picking up from that 5-1 thrashing by Port Melbourne a few weeks ago. It was a really good response to that display, where there were a few concerned heads. Of course, started the season on fire with a few really good results and dropped back into the mid to lower table. But again, a side who on their day have shown a capability of matching it with anyone in the league, and last week was certainly an example of that, as Hewitt gets on the ball and tries to find the run of Delic, who just tried to keep it alive, but Adams gets it down. He pings it high, long four, but no communication between George Howard and Lee Monopolis, and Howard in the end flicks the ball away, and Monopolis goes across the closed Weir, but Weir just takes his time and picks it up. And well, again, Hume City, they were never touted as someone who was going to be a dark horse, but again, with recent results, they do put themselves back into that round 6 position. We've seen today, we saw last week, they certainly have a capacity to be matching it with some of the better sides in the league.
Yeah, well, it's been an interesting season for them. As we mentioned, they hadn't won a game for quite a while before this round, but they did win their opening 2 against Oakley and also Dandy Thunder. And well, last season we know all about the struggles that Hume City did have, a lot of discontinuity, if you like, in their ranks. So, it's been a fairly good return, but another massive game for them next week against Pascoe Vale, who are another one of those sides that are sort of floating in and around the bottom half of the table, sort of sniffing for the crumbs of the top 6. So that will be another one with a really telling effect on the 6.
Well, now it's Delic on this right-hand side. He'll hold it up. He tries to go round Lambropoulos, who done well there to retain possession, and now it's a chance here for Salados. Monopolis into Howard. He's got the run of Monopolis to his left. He finds him. Now Lee Monopolis. He's got options staying for in the middle. Clips it into the central area, but again, no one there to receive. Gage goes back to Lambropoulos. Now he switches play to Giba. Now outside to Cruceratis, who again looks to get it forward, but given away. And a good little bit of play there by James Brown just to hold it up. He's got the runner Kaya in front of him, but Brown will just claim the foul. And again, just a cheeky little smile towards the crowd. He's had a good game today, James Brown. 2 goals, both well taken under the circumstances, both scrappy, but they'll be delighted with his return this season. Oh yeah, absolutely. 8 goals, I should say, and well, he's someone that if you are an NPL side, you want to lean on. Of course, we've got a smattering of players with experience in the A-League across the division. James Brown is one of those. Of course, Mitch Cooper as well, and those two have worked in tandem really well this season. So the fact that they've been able to really make the most of an asset like that is a big plus. Well, there is a head injury here, so again Hume City will take up potentially the final few moments on this game clock, and well, an important result this one potentially. And now for South Melbourne, of course, makes next week's game against the Dandenong Thunder all the more important. Of course, both sides struggling now near towards the bottom end of the table. They'll be in 10th and 11th, of course, going into that game, regardless of the result between Pascoe Vale and Kingston City. So regardless of the result between Green Gully and Kingston City tomorrow night. So, again, that really will become a battle now of who can pull themselves away from that bottom 3 as we enter the almost midway point of the season. And again, it's not somewhere where South Melbourne ever want to be associated with, and maybe was floated a little bit too closely with last season. They need to start picking up results.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, if you're South Melbourne, this is not the position you want to be in. And look, certainly as well, it's an important period for a lot of these NPL clubs across the country, Brandon, whether it's Victoria or New South Wales, particularly for the clubs that are of the, I guess, the older persuasion, if you like, these storied old clubs. Because, of course, we've got the second division inevitably coming in, and no doubt South Melbourne are one of those clubs that will be interested in making up that second division, along with the likes probably of Melbourne Knights, for example, even the likes of Avondale. So, I mean, certainly they won't want their results to drop off too far. They want to make sure they're putting their best foot forward when that comes around.
Well, we are in the final moments here. We're in the 95th minute as Hume will love to just roll this clock down. A really important result away from home here at Lakeside Stadium. As the throw-in is taken up the line, Lambropoulos heads it back into play. There has been a little bit of extra allotted stoppage from the 5 that were initially added on due to that head injury there. So Cooper gets it out wide to Sweets. He hasn't really got anything above him in terms of the ball, so he's happy just to carry it out wide and just hold it up out here and continue to soak up some game time as Cooper turns, and in the end it's off the South Melbourne player as the ball is given back to Gideon Sweet, and you're going to assume once he throws this ball in, the referee's probably going to blow for full time as it goes into the corner. It's cleared away. And thrown in quickly again in the corner. Brown holding it up, turns centrally, but given away by Adams as we continue to play here. Kaya, high up and under. Cooper underneath it, cleared. Kaya there. Shrone got across. Could have been Brown inside, but he couldn't quite get himself on it. And Gage lost out. And that is full time here at Lakeside Stadium. Hume City with a really, really important 3 points. They move themselves back into the top 6 in 6th position with a 2-0 victory, a double for James Brown, either side of the break, meaning that, well, they come away and back to the northwest suburbs of Melbourne with a fantastic result.
Great counter-attacking performance from Hume, good coaching performance from Nick Hegarty as well, but I think the overarching thing from this game that we learned is that probably the result of the original derby last week for South, the 1-0 win over Knights, was potentially maybe sugarcoating their problems a little bit. It's been a bit of a disjointed season, but the big problem for them that has remained is goal scoring. Still only 6 goals scored from 9 this season. It's a pretty paltry return. And again today, back at home, no goals to show for all their dominance. So, look, they'll need to just go back to the drawing board, South Melbourne, back to square one, really. They just have to find a way to solve this goal-scoring dilemma that they do have, because they can't move forward and expect to be in the top 6 with such a paltry goals record.
Well, for Hume City, though, as well, they moved themselves back into the top 6, and a really encouraging performance from them as well, away from home, of course. A draw last week against Avondale, and now a win here against South Melbourne does put them back in the winners' books. But Joel, thanks again for joining us on the NPL Live broadcast here. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Yeah,
sounds good, Brandon. Hopefully we can do it again soon, mate.
Well, that's it here from Lakeside Stadium. The final score here, Hume City defeating South Melbourne by 2-0. I'm your commentator, Brian Galgano. Goodbye for now.